Hey, RetconRaider here. Today's video is dedicated to Leroynukenson, with special thanks to Anerdinwarpaint, Matthew Holmquist, Nathan Welch Jr., and Valinrook, all of whom helped make this series possible. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, let's get started. And welcome back to Wasteland 3, as we conclude our walk through the Garden of the Gods by facing the Beast Master. Though, to be fair, I do think the hard part is going to come after that. I really don't like the looks of that pit. That said, we obviously have a very clear advantage going into this fight. We've got the high ground, we've got plenty of cover, and we've got access to this weird solar amplification doohickey that Bellamy invented. I'm not sure how effective it'll be, but let's get our guys into position, and then we'll let Longway take a run at that computer interface. Oh, also worth noting, I did re-equip the brainwave destabilizer. Turns out it works just fine against humans.
Somebody's coming.
Shit! Think it's the marshals?
Marshals are too gutless to follow us in here. Whoever it is, they got balls.
I like that voice. Okay, I think we're good. The interface for the photon amplification lens looks simple. Most routines are automated, but there are some controls you can adjust. Let's get that dynamic cross-photon matrix installed. You remove a component labeled Passive Cross-Photon Matrix and install the Dynamic Cross-Photon Matrix. There is a short hiss and the piece starts smelling of ozone. Probably not a problem. Probably. Photon collection is at its lowest setting, currently reading 10.0. On the screen, an animated flower wears sunglasses and cringes from glaring sun rays. Turn it up to 11. You twist a knob to the right. A low hum grows in strength. A happy flower appears on the screen. It says, "PAL activated, pal." And now. Holy.
We can handle this, right?
So we just vaporized the Beastmaster. It turns out that the human body, no matter how tough or grizzled, is no match for the strength of 1,000,000 exploding suns. Who'd have thought? These guys are probably feeling a bit left out, so... Wow. Huh. So that happened. I don't think that played out the way any of us expected it to. But, I'm not going to complain. Let's get some burn cream on that and we'll have a look around. Oh, a full set of tactical armor. That is actually a very nice find. Spare rocket. Let's see what's left of the Beastmaster. Wolf skull hood ornament. Mid-tier armor. And assorted goo. Sounds about right.
What's in that pit?
Yeah. Now for the part we're all dreading. The scent of charred meat and burnt hair wafts from the pit. Smoking bodies, contorted by agony or post-mortem muscle contraction, lie curled atop one another. It is impossible to identify the corpses, but they appear to be both adults and children. Lucia stares at the bodies. Her knuckles are white on the grips of her guns, and her breath comes in little gasps. With an explosive gasp, she releases her breath and squares her shoulders.
I don't know if they're here or not. I can't... Come on. Let's find the monsters who did this.
Near the edge of the pit, a child-sized corpse appears to be clutching something, as if they were protecting it, or hiding it.
That was one of the Skylar girls, I think. Seems like we ought to leave her alone. Feels an awful lot like grave robbing.
Lucia turns away, looking like she's going to be sick. Yeah, okay. Nothing else in the pit catches your attention. The bodies and any items they carried are burned beyond recognition. Glad to see that bleak streak is still going. First Team November gets slaughtered, and then we embark on a hostage crisis where all the hostages end up dead. A banner day for the Desert Rangers. Peak solves conflict through negotiation. Poke shoots first, and keeps shooting. The clothes on this young man are impeccably tailored, the height of local fashion. He holds his hands up and launches into what is obviously a prepared speech.
I'm Isaac Reed. On behalf of all of us here, I want to offer our unconditional surrender. As proof of our goodwill, I want to tell you that the culprits got into town with help from Farron Brago's organization, and...
Isaac, how could you? How could you throw in with these people? How could you let them take my family? Where are my parents and my little brother?
They're in the grave you passed on the way here. They didn't suffer, Lucia. I promise. Baby, look, I didn't mean it to go this way. I tried to stop them. I really did. I begged.
Stop talking right now.
Wait a minute. You kids were helping the Dorseys?
We thought we were in the right. The Dorseys promised that we could take down the Patriarch. They didn't say anything about murdering hostages.
What about all the other people they killed? Or was that part okay with you, Isaac?
Look, just tell us how these people ended up dead.
It was Nelius Dorsey. He went looking for your family, Lucia. Your family especially. That's why I got you out of your house before the raid. I didn't want anything to happen to you.
You didn't want anything to happen to me? So you let savages abduct and murder my family. You knew what they meant to me. You knew what their loss would do to me.
But you're still alive, Lucia. Don't you see? You're still alive, and that's what matters most to me.
It's like the world's worst love song. Where's Nelius Dorsey now?
He escaped. He took some vehicles and headed west into the mountains. I don't think he was planning to come back.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Why did you do it, Isaac? Why betray your community?
We've been under the Patriarch's boot for 50 years. We say that the 100 families are in charge, but it's really just his family. Just him. I know you must think I'm a fuzzy-headed idealist, but this society's sick. It needs to change.
Sure, but there might have been better ways to go about doing that. Were the Dorseys acting alone? Did they have support from anyone else?
Farron Brygo's gang helped them get into town. I don't know how or why. And I overheard Nelius say something about Liberty Buchanan, the Patriarch's daughter. I think she's going to attack Colorado Springs. It sounded like she's gathering an army out in the plains. Something way worse than the Dorseys.
I have heard enough. If your betrayal of my family was not sufficient, your treachery here most certainly is. In the name of the Patriarch, I sentence you.
Her voice shakes, but her hand does not. You didn't even see her draw her gun.
Please, Lucia. I did this for you. All I ever meant was to help build a better world for you. For all of us. I can't tell you how much I regret. Please don't kill me. Please.
Stop, Lucia. There's a better way to handle this.
A better way? I can't think of one. Not after what he did to my family. You want to let him walk away from what he's done?
We're going to put him under arrest. We'll make sure justice is served.
I have justice right here, in the palm of my hand. I am more than happy to mete it out. I would be delighted to be its instrument.
You're not the law here, Lucia. You're not even deputized. This is our job, and we say he's under arrest. After a long moment, Lucia lowers her gun and looks away, tears running down her face.
Thank you. Thank you.
His voice is barely a whisper.
Come in, November 1. This is Ranger HQ. We're getting reports of shooting in your last known location at Garden of the Gods. What's your status? Over.
We took care of the Dorseys, and we arrested several rebels. Send a team to pick them up as soon as possible.
Copy that, November 1. Dispatching an arrest team now. Good job getting those sons of bitches. Over and out.
Yeah, good work, everyone. Just great jobs all around. At least we got some nice loot. This camp is only a few days old. Looks like the Dorseys gathered here before their attack on the city. Alright, let's go have a look at that cyborg chicken. I deliberately avoided it so as not to break up the momentum of our grim-dark moment there. But we could use some levity. Nearly spherical in shape, this plump specimen waddles contentedly along, pecking at the ground. For some reason, someone implanted metal devices into its body. Okay, we need 4 points for that. Cluck cluck. It tilts its head one way and another, scrutinizing you with one eye and then the next. Okay. We're not too far from our next level up. But we don't have enough for it right now. Alright, folks. I want to do another pass on the garden real quick, just to make sure we didn't miss anything. And I need to get that new gear equipped and take a look at our level up options anyway, so let's hit the pause button for a moment and we'll pick things up back in Colorado Springs. Be right back.
You let Isaac live? After he gave aid and comfort to the enemies of the Patriarch? After he helped them kill my family? You let him live? Why arrest him when you killed all those others? What made him special?
I'm sorry, Lucia. We didn't want you to have his murder on your conscience.
I'll be the keeper of my own conscience, thank you. I am a grown woman. You have no right to make these decisions for me. Forgive me. I appreciate the thought. This is just difficult. I suppose you're right, though. It is better not to have such a thing weighing on my soul. But the people who are truly responsible, Nelius Dorsey and Liberty Buchanan, I will bring justice to their doors. Will you help me find them? You can count on my guns every step of the way.
Yeah. I think we've got room for Lucia in the squad. She complements the rest of our guys pretty nicely, and I think she's a pretty interesting character. Yeah, we'll help you. But in return, you follow orders like a ranger.
Of course. Good. You've got yourselves a bargain, Rangers. We should go after Nelius Dorsey first. Isaac said he headed west into the mountains. No doubt he plans to hole up at one of the old resorts from before the bombs fell. I don't think we're ready to face him yet, though. Nelius will be dug in, I expect, and he'll have all his best people with him. He only left behind the expendables in the garden.
I thought she said she was gonna follow orders, not give them.
For now, we should head back to the sheriff.
Oh yeah, and we're definitely not going after Nelius anytime soon. Based on what we're seeing here, that's about equivalent to going after Vic. We'll need to build up our strength pretty significantly before we're ready for that. Speaking of which, we do have some upgrades to take care of real quick. Obviously, I've redistributed our armor, nothing major there. And I've gone ahead and equipped that new sniper rifle. Aside from that, we will also boost Doll's coordination, get her an extra action point to play with. And we will pick up the Mark Target perk. That'll give her something to do with those extra action points. We'll also go ahead and grab Targeting Override for Long Way. That'll be important for keeping the enemies distracted. And I guess that's it, at least for now. Moving on.
How's the family?
Shut your hole. I knew you slept with my wife.
Hey, slow down. I didn't, I swear. I have got bedroom issues. Flagpole don't stand.
I... really? Sorry, man. Then who the hell was that in my house?
Inappropriate?
Books for sale!
Okay. I guess we can't actually buy any.
Clocks, clothes, clowns. Oh, not one book on clones?
Well, that is a shame.
Not a chance, buddy. Chaff like us don't get to live with the weak. Yeah, it doesn't matter how much money you got. If you don't have 100 families' blood, you're down here with the rest of us.
Yeah, nothing really new there, I suppose.
Is it just me, or are the marshals cracking down on folks harder than before the Dorseys attacked?
Ixnay, I'm the Arshals man.
They've been real assholes. I mean, they threw my brother up against the wall just for spitting on the ground.
Shut up, shut up, shut up!
They're really laying it on thick with the marshals, aren't they?
All I did was ask a few questions.
This woman is scowling and kicking snow as she glares at the boarded-up museum. She jumps when you approach.
Who?
I love the way she talks. Who are you?
Junko Murayama, sculptor, roboticist, amateur historian, and former curator of the Colorado Springs Museum of History.
Former curator?
Can you believe it? I really fixed up that museum. Before me, just a bunch of dirty old trash we had to go look at 5 times a year in school.
5 times a year, huh?
I brought the place into the 22nd century, scavenged some old robot parts to rebuild the animatronics, remade all the replicas from scratch, cleaned all the blood off the scar collector weapons. Good stuff.
Yeah, it did look pretty nice in there. Why did the museum close? She sticks out her lower lip.
Officially, because of the Dorsey raid. But I think they didn't like the questions I was asking about the Patriarch's history while I was renovating the exhibits. I mean, why else would they tell me they'll be hiring a new curator? What's that got to do with the raid?
Well, it does seem in keeping with what we've heard about Colorado Springs. Why do you think your questions got the museum shut down?
I don't even know. I sent Diligent Joe, the Patriarch's private secretary, a list of questions about the Dorsey family and the routing of the Plains gangs. Just trying to clear up a few weird discrepancies, you know? Well, he doesn't get back to me, and then the raid happens, and I'm out on my ass with no explanation. That's weird, right?
Yeah, I think the fact that the Plains gangs are not in fact defeated is a bit weird. Sounds like you're proud of the museum.
Heck yeah, I am. It was a real sight to behold before they shut it down. Animatronic exhibits portraying our great history, true relics of our struggle to survive, displayed for all to see, authentic handmade replicas of lost treasures. Just some real A+ quality work, if I do say so myself.
You know, we had a look at those exhibits.
Oh yeah? What'd you think?
Good stuff. You should be proud.
Right? Thank you. Nice to be appreciated. I mean, I didn't do it for the praise, but if you want to keep on, I'm way into that.
You know, we've got a big space back at our new headquarters that would be perfect for a museum. You want to join the Rangers and be our curator?
That's rad! Heck yes! Thank you! You won't regret this. You're over at the old airbase, right? I've read all about that place. I'll see you back at your HQ.
Well, that was easy. I kind of thought we'd have to jump through more hoops, but cool. Oh, right. Let's check out the tailor shop.
Thank you again for your help. Can't tell you how much it means to us.
Look, Martha, it's our friends who helped us save the shop. What can I do for you? We've got some discounts with your name on them.
What can you tell me about your shop?
Been making clothes and adornments for the 100 families for 30 years. Most of them won't buy from anybody else. Of course, we sell to regular folks, too. Plenty of less expensive items in stock. Repurposed or restored garments, mostly.
You and your wife get along well?
Hardly a cross word between us.
She says nothing, but rolls her eyes behind him. Okay, show me what you've got. The old man smiles happily and starts showing you his wares. Okay, so nothing all that special here. Some cosmetic outfits, a small assortment of low-tier armor mods, though I think this might be the only place we can actually get combat belts, and some general low-tier armor. We might come back for those mods.
Oh, get your Colorado Patriot here, hot off the press.
I think we found their diaries in the garbage.
Either of you ever worry about getting hitched to a pillory?
Hell yeah. I've always got a smile for the marshals and never piss them off. I stay in line.
Horrible way to go. Of course, if you're up there, you deserve it.
If you say so.
I think we should pull some marshals from Broadmoor, put them here in downtown. If an enemy gets all the way to Broadmoor, we've got big problems.
But then, who'd make the precious 100 families feel all warm and snug?
Yeah, they'd never let that happen.
Hear anything from your sis?
No, not exactly. They found her under a smashed market stall. She didn't get far.
Shit. I'm sorry. Fucking Dorseys.
Fucking Dorseys.
Sheriff?
Hey, you ever...
I like your style, Rangers. I asked for a favor and you came through for me. Of course, I'd have liked it better if you sent Isaac Reed and his trader friends to me, rather than locking them up in Ranger HQ. Seems to me that if somebody commits a crime in Colorado Springs, they should face Colorado Springs justice. And I sure would appreciate it if you keep that in mind for the future.
Oh man, I am tempted to go with that second option, but I guess that wouldn't be the smartest thing to do. Yeah, will do. Doesn't mean we'll actually do it, though.
Glad to hear that. I think we'll get along fine.
Yep, that's pretty much what we want you to think.
Now, before I forget, let me introduce you to Hope Emerson. She heard all about you coming to town and she wants to join up. Ain't that right, Hope?
Pleasure's mine, Rangers. Ran the lockup in a little town called Amity on Colorado's eastern border. Figured I could do the same thing for you at your HQ, assuming you'll be arresting people now and then.
Amity got flattened by the scar collectors a while back, so Hope came west. Been trying to get her to join the marshals ever since, but she keeps turning me down flat. We have some differences when it comes to crime and punishment. But that aside, she's smart, honorable, and should be an asset to your organization.
Well, that does make her sound pretty appealing, but we'll decide that for ourselves. Hope, we'll catch up with you in a moment.
No problem. I'll be here.
So, back to business. Did you find out how the Dorseys got into town?
Apparently, they had help from Farron Brygo's gang.
Figures. That rat slinked into town about 5 years back, and the Patriarch, God love him, offered him a place to set up shop. Been nothing but trouble ever since, so him making a deal with the Dorseys doesn't surprise me in the least. In fact, I had a hunch he might be involved, so I sent my best man over to his nightclub, the Little Vegas, to search for a connection. Haven't heard back from him, though, and I'm a little worried. Say, what if I asked you Rangers to go to Little Vegas and check up on him? And if you happen to find proof that Brygo helped the Dorseys while you're there, well, feel free to cuff the bastard and haul him in.
Sure, I don't see why not. We're on it.
Take down Brygo for me, and I'll make sure your HQ gets the best-equipped armory this side of the Rockies. Guns, ammo, armor, the whole shebang. The marshal I sent to the Little Vegas is named Delgado. Family man and the best inspector I've got. Keep him safe, and I'll owe you another favor. Always a pleasure, Rangers.
Sad we missed that side conversation, but that's gonna happen. There's a surprising amount of background chatter in this game. Oh, right, we have to talk to Hope. Let's take care of that. The woman gives you a crisp salute as you approach.
Thanks for talking to me, Rangers. And I'm grateful to Daisy for the introduction. I hope I can be of some use to you. Are you looking for someone to run your brig?
We are, but we have some questions first.
Certainly. What do you want to know?
You seem pretty excited to be a jailer. That's not usually a job people want.
No. And the people who do are usually sickos who get off on bossing around convicts and making them squirm, right? Well, that's not me. I promise you. I became a jailer after getting locked up myself when I was a kid and seeing the job done wrong. We expect the law to be fair, from arrest to trial to sentence, but too many people forget that incarceration is part of the process. A big part, and often the least fair. People in jail are there to learn from their mistakes. In a bad jail, all they learn is to mistrust the law and fear their fellow man. I want to make your jail a good jail where everyone is treated fairly, regardless of their crime, and everyone has a chance to improve themselves.
Huh. That was not the answer I was expecting. How come you left Amity?
It's not there anymore. Scar collectors rolled through and took everybody they could catch for slaves. Then they burned the place to the ground. I led a caravan of survivors to Colorado Springs, and I've been here ever since.
Don't be ridiculous. The Patriarch destroyed the Scar collectors. Haven't you seen the museum? Why did you choose us over the Marshals?
I respect Daisy's determination to keep Colorado Springs safe, but I don't agree with her methods. They're too savage.
Savage how?
Take the pillories, for example. The Marshals shackle prisoners into them for the smallest of crimes and leave them exposed to the cold for hours. They lose fingers and noses and ears to frostbite, if they survive at all.
Oh, right. Yeah, that.
What does that accomplish? Other than cripple them and mark them as criminals for life. After that, how can they become good citizens? How are they to believe that the law is fair? It turns my stomach.
What do you know about the Rangers?
Daisy tells me you've been tireless fighters for justice in Arizona, settling disputes, breaking up gangs and militias, putting down a plague of robots, and that you're here in Colorado for the most noble of reasons, to save your people back home after a terrible disaster. I hope she wasn't blowing smoke, because she made you sound just like the sort of heroes I want to work for.
Good answer. Thanks. I guess that answers all our questions.
Great. So what do you think? Can I join you?
You know, maybe she's just saying what she thinks we want to hear, but... yeah, you're hired.
Thank you. I'll be there as soon as I make my goodbyes here. Looking forward to working with you.
Well, let's hope we don't regret that. Though, in retrospect, I suppose it's a bit of a moot point, isn't it? I mean, we do have a Patriarch loyalist handling the bulk of our recruiting. Not to mention Quinn here. Right, Quinn?
Rangers, wow. Can't thank you enough for saving me.
Please be safe.
Don't worry, Mom. Your boy is gonna be a ranger.
What do you think they do with the bodies from the pillories?
I heard they got a mass grave just outside the walls.
I don't know, man. I swear the last shipment of meat from the bazaar tasted funky.
Ooh, I don't even want to think about that.
Yikes. There's a thought. I suppose the high level of state executions could be to help fuel some sort of Soylent Green situation. Might be a bit too cliched, though.
Hello, Rangers? This is Gideon Reyes. I'm addressing you from Broadmoor Heights. The Patriarch has made it known that you are in need of logistical support. I can happily make a few calls, speak to a few people. In exchange, I'd like to ask that you hear me out on a proposition. It's not a thing I really do, this ransoming of aid, but these are unusual circumstances, and Colorado Springs' future hangs in the metaphorical balance. I wouldn't be asking for such an exchange if I wasn't desperate. I'll be at the church in Broadmoor Heights, and I'll tell the marshals to let you through. Come find me here.
Intriguing. I think Reyes is Lucia's mother's name. So that would make Gabriel her uncle? Wonder if that'll actually come up.
Hi, I'm Austin. I'm new.
Welcome aboard. Where are you from?
Oh, around.
Yeah, me too. We all are here.
I, too, am from around.
Hello, Rangers. Permission to speak?
Permission granted, recruit.
I just wanted to say thank you again for saving my life. If you hadn't talked to Judge Watkins, well, I wouldn't be here, and I'm really happy to be here. I guess that's all I wanted to say. Thanks. Oh, and, Mom thanks you too.
Happy to help, kiddo. Try not to die. Wow, it's actually looking pretty nice in here. And Junko works fast. Let's go check that out.
Time to make this place shine. Grab a mop and let's get to work.
A mop? I'm a ranger.
You're a ranger who was assigned to me. Get going.
Join the Rangers, they said. Life of adventure, they said. Nuts.
Hey, Rangers! Hope you like what I've done with the space.
Yeah, you definitely outdid yourself. A model of Bellamy Ward's greenhouse spires, celebrating the Rangers' routing of Dorsey forces in the Garden of the Gods. Glowing radioactive paint excluded for falling outside Ranger safety protocols. Harsh but fair. Peak shares ammo with his squad before a battle. Poke steals ammo from his squad before a battle, and loots their corpses after.
Robot mascots of pre-war PSAs, Peek and Poke were meant to show the right and wrong ways of preparing for the end of the world. Each vignette humorously contrasted Noble Peek's forethought and generosity, and Poke's short-sightedness and greed. Since the deluge, the billboards have been often modified by survivalists who change the art and the message to suit the times, resulting in a darker humor than the original creators ever intended.
Man, look at all these empty tables. We have quite a bit of questing ahead of us. New container. Nothing really notable in here, but it does indicate we should definitely check the other rooms.
A.
7A, check.
13C.
13C.
1B.
1B, got it.
2B.
Not seeing 2B.
Are you sure?
Found it. Sorry, 2B.
Good. Okay. 4A.
Yep, 4A.
And that just goes to show that not every bit of background chatter is worth listening to.
We're cool, right?
We're cool. Plenty of space for you, plenty of space for us. Everything's cool.
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 Are you sure you told Lucia I was here? She hasn't come to see me.
I passed on your message, like I said.
So where is she?
Son, after what you did, if she does come to see you, she's gonna get frisked twice and talk to you with handcuffs on.
I don't care if she shoots me. I just want to see her again.
I know it's an odd thing to say to a man in a cell, but it just might be time for you to move on.
Understatement.
What have I done?
You're a worm, Isaac. I should have killed you.
What have I done?
This is a better justice than you deserve.
Mine eyes have seen the glory of the bleeding of our Lord.
My dad's gonna kill me.
I question the decision to put these guys all in the same cell. But, what do I know? We might need to talk to Hope about that. And oh my goodness, that is a skill book. We are absolutely checking every other room. But first, an uncomfortable conversation. The warden salutes you as you approach, then gestures to the pristine brig.
What do you think? Scrubbed up nice, huh? What can I do for you?
How are the prisoners?
Isaac and his friends have been no trouble. I know they acted remarkably stupid, even by the metric of hot-headed teenagers. But now, they see the error of their ways. Them being here, instead of bleeding out among the rocks at the garden, or frozen on those nightmarish pillories, is what true justice looks like, Rangers. Someday we'll be able to let them out, and they will spend the rest of their lives working to better Colorado.
Yeah, I guess I can't argue with that.
I wanted to talk about the prisoner you found when you first got here, the one who survived by eating fungus and bugs. I know you decided to keep him locked up, and I'm not saying you were wrong. It's just, do we know he's broken any laws? And even if he has, it seems he's been imprisoned here for years. Has he not served his time? I know he's a little unsettling to talk to, but is that reason enough to deny him his liberty? Don't worry, I'm not going to let him out without your say-so. Just wanted to say my piece.
Yeah, I mean, Hope, I hear where you're coming from. But considering that I am 90% certain he, intentionally or otherwise, killed a man, I'm going to say he stays. If new evidence comes to light, then we will reevaluate. Anyone else?
I have harbored a desire to talk to the raiders who burned down my hometown. I thought, if I understand who they are, I might find peace. I think these Dorseys are the closest I'll ever get to that. I found them to be violent religious fanatics, raised in a culture lethally hostile to anything that doesn't look or sound like them. I do not know how best to engage them. Would cruelty reinforce their views? Would kindness give them opportunity to spread their hate? Logical arguments only reinforce their years of emotional bias. How do you help those so lost in hate?
You are asking questions that are well above my pay grade.
Not much to report. Everyone's behaving, relatively speaking.
Thanks, Hope. Take it easy.
Good luck out there.
You know, I really like her. I honestly hope we do not have to shoot her. Gotta say, Wasteland 3 does not make it easy to tell whether or not you can trust someone. And that's a good thing. That said, I do anticipate a lot of heartbreak in our future. Alright, let's get this toaster cracked open. Fingers crossed. Tarzan token. A brass token inscribed with a scowling face and the name Tarzan. Toaster repairman's badge. +1 to toaster repair. Just slightly redundant. I guess that will save us some skill points in the long run. And our bonus loot is a melee mod. Not what I was hoping for, but we might be able to make use of it. I still haven't settled on who our final companion will be.
In the roof garden of the Hotel Pimlico, Roger Mayhew was raising a glass to his betrothed, the lovely Vivica Linwood.
Darling, before our marriage tomorrow, there's something I must tell you.
Oh dear, this sounds quite ominous. Are you going to reveal an old family curse?
No, nothing like that. And nothing sordid either. So you may set your mind at ease on that score.
Oh, pooh. I was rather hoping for something juicy. Well then, what is it?
It's just that, though you know me as Roger Mayhew, man of leisure, I am also...
At that moment, all the lights went out in the garden, and a harsh voice called out.
No need for alarm, ladies and gentlemen. We're only here for your valuables. And as we're all wearing infrared glasses, don't try to hide.
Before he could finish, there was a smack, like a mallet striking a side of beef. And then, the sounds of a terrible scuffle in the dark. The lights returned. An even dozen gangsters in red-lensed glasses strewn across the floor. A masked man standing in their middle, fists raised.
Roger, look! It's the Peregrine!
But Roger was nowhere to be seen.
Yes. Yes to all of that. If the Peregrine is not in this game, I am going to be very disappointed. Greatski?
Glad to see you back, Rangers. Cleaned up the worst of the mess in your absence. Now, what can I help you with?
Those volunteers you mentioned, where are you getting them from?
Well, I've got friends in the Marshals, the Patriarch's Palace Guard, and some local militias. They've always got more folks wanting to sign up than they have positions for. So I asked my pals to send over everybody on their waiting lists. Now, some of these folks may be, less than top grade for sure, but most will be solid recruits, ready and willing to learn. You'll have to pick and choose.
Fair enough. If you're going to be our chief of security, we need to know more about you.
Happy to tell you what you need to know.
So, what's your story?
Well, came here with my folks when I was a kid, and was a young man when Saul was trying to unite the families and make Colorado a state. I got behind him right away. He had leader written all over him, even back then. I've served at his side ever since, fighting against the monster army, consolidating power here in town, helping him expand our borders.
What Mr. Greatsky means is that he played a key role in many of the Patriarch's greatest victories, and he had no small part in making Colorado what it is today.
You're too kind, Darius. Well, the fighting's never really ended. Trying to hold it all together is a constant struggle. This business with his children is just the latest in a long line of troubles.
You've served with the Patriarch for so long. You must like him.
I do indeed. Some folks can't get past his brusque ways, but that's just the impatience of a man who knows what's right, dealing with fools who don't. He cares too deeply about the well-being of the people of Colorado to let political courtesy slow him down. Of course, you'll hear a lot of folk condemning him for hurting this group or that group with his decisions, but the way I see it, they should be glad it wasn't them who had to make the choice.
That is also fair. The Patriarch is in a pretty unenviable position. Will you tell us some stories about your days fighting beside the Patriarch?
Stories? They are stories indeed these days. I've told him so many times all the truth's been wrung out of him. Now, let's see. Here's one. So, one day we were hunting monster army raiders and came upon a tin-walled shack. The people inside were shooting at us and not answering our calls to parley. Well, I got sick of that real quick and unslung my rocket launcher. But Saul, he holds up a finger, then creeps around behind the compound. Well, pretty soon we hear him smashing through those tin walls with his hammer, and then comes two high-pitched screams. A few moments later, he comes striding out, carrying a child under each arm. They've been shooting at us because they thought we were coming to eat their dying parents. Now, I will never know how Saul knew it was kids in there rather than raiders, but somehow he did. And we brought them and their folks back to the city and helped them out until they got well again. And he's always been like that. An uncanny ability to always do the right thing.
I don't know about that. I mean, the refugees would beg to differ, but I get the idea. To be fair, he did say the truth had been wrung out of these stories, so take that as you will. Got any more stories for us?
Give me a while and I'll see if I can remember any more. In the meantime, I'm sure you have plenty to do. Happy to. What's on your mind?
Thanks for your time, Greatsky.
I'll be here.
Always a pleasure.
As you were.
Anytime.
Encyclopedia Robotica, a heavily used guide to Colorado robots. Lovely. We will absolutely take a look at that. Welcome to the 9th edition of Encyclopedia Robotica, the definitive repository of knowledge about all of Colorado's synthetic citizens. This 12-volume series will expound upon both the types of robots found throughout the snowy expanses and high elevations of the state, as well as their detailed histories. You will discover exciting new facts of which you were never aware. For example, whose idea was it and how drunk were they when they decided to attach giant saw blades to multi-legged robots and turn them loose on the population made almost entirely of sawable flesh? Also, Did you know that our spider bots were designed to operate on uneven and treacherous terrain, and that their inventors only later realized giant robotic spiders looked utterly terrifying to most humans? Perhaps you are researching Colorado robots for practical purposes, such as your family's survival. If so, Encyclopedia Robotica is your ultimate guide. Never again lose a loved one to a dreaded hopper robot, the leaping automatons designed to carry all manner of explosive nuisances, from gas bombs to small tactical nuclear devices. You will learn how to prevent yourself and others from being electrocuted by shock dogs. Hint, avoid the prongs. Conversely, servitor bots can be life-saving medical assistants that are often utilized well for that purpose. However, their ability to manipulate tools means you should never give one a loaded machine gun. All this information and more awaits you as you turn to the next pages of this introductory volume. Enjoy your journey exploring the diverse and only marginally lethal world of Colorado's robots. Dr. Horvan Fitzgerald, Ph.D., a human doctor of robotics and definitely not a robot himself. Again, if Dr. Fitzgerald is not in this game, I'll be very disappointed. That said, I have heard the spider bots didn't make the cut. I have not verified that myself, though. We'll have to keep an eye out. Alright, we are now past the hour mark, so we do need to wrap this up. Let's go have a chat with the doc and do a quick pass through the armory and garage. This woman's head is wrapped in bandages. Her breathing is shallow, but steady.
Hey, Rangers. I'm here at last. It'll take a while, but I think I'll be able to make an actual surgery out of this place. Just need to call in a few favors for equipment and supplies. If you need treatment now, well, I think I'm ready for that. What do you need?
How's that patient of yours?
Fine. Everything is fine. For now.
Well, let us know if we can help. Do you have any supplies you could tell us?
I brought a few things over from the garage. Not much yet, but...
Yeah, that's about what we'd expect. A modest assortment of medical items sold at a discount. It's actually got a pretty sizable supply. We'll have to stock up once we've got the funds and perks for it. Door's still sealed. No surprises there. Not much going on here either. And we're looking pretty sparse here. I know we can use that table to modify the Kodiak, but we don't actually have any parts for it yet. Okay, I think that gets us caught up.
Good luck out there.
Thank you. Alright, folks. I think that brings us to a pretty good stopping point for now. Made some decent progress today. Cleared the gardens, failed to save a bunch of hostages, got some new job offers, oh, and got ourselves a curator and a jailer. So, yeah, I'd say things are coming along. Anyway, we will hit the pause button for now, but we will pick up here next time. as we head to Broadmoor Heights to see how the other half lives. And then to Little Vegas to see how the third half lives. See you then. Oh, and remember, as much as I do enjoy playing Wasteland 3, you can find out more about the game by visiting the official website, the official YouTube and Twitch channels, the official social media feeds, or the official store pages. As always, links are in the description. Which was in fact written by a human and definitely not a robot.